Hi, welcome to the Max Fortune Show. I am your host, Max Fortune. And welcome to another installment of the Max Fortune Show. I actually specialize in helping people achieve their dreams and goals, build their businesses through innovative marketing techniques, as well as coaching people through people who want to write their book quickly and affordably. And today, as usual, I have my co-host, Joe Farina, here with me again. Just to give you a little bit more about Joe, Joe's an entrepreneur who's helped multiple businesses, both online and offline, including retail stores in the sports supplement industry. So he's also been a personal development coach specialist, actually has worked and published in both book and magazine form. So I'm always glad to have Joe on the show.
Thank you, Max. Thank you very much.
It's always definitely good to have you on the show. And today, actually, me personally, I'm an author, publisher, book coach, and the president and CEO of Fortune Publishing Group. So what I do is this show that we do every week is fashioned around the 3 books that I've written. And what we try to do is bring valuable information to people
That's right.
like yourselves, hopefully viewers, people who are watching the show. Again, every week we just try to come up with valuable content for people that can help you out, whether you are just wanting to achieve some type of personal goal, some type of physical, financial, whatever kind of goal you have. So today we're going to be focusing on success and achieving goals, or some of the things that you need to do that. We also talk about, next week our show is on Get Rich in Your Niche. So if you have a small business, you definitely don't want to miss that for next week. The third show of the week we do is how to publish a book and make a fortune. So again, if you're out there with a business or an idea for a good book, definitely want to tune into the third Thursdays of every month.
Fantastic shows.
Yeah, fantastic shows. And then the fourth Thursday of every month we do with Nicole Fortune, my lovely wife. She joins us here at the studio and we do a great relationship show. So again, just try to give value add. And you know what I do want to say, and we want to always welcome you as a viewer or a listener, however you tune into the show, to call in with comments. And so our comment line, or I'll say this, the show we record live every week. So again, it's live. So if there's oohs and ums or anything like that, we record the show live every week. We have calls. We definitely welcome calls from visitors or from people online, or anybody who wants to call in. So if you want to call in, we welcome you to do that. We also welcome you to comment online on facebook.com/AskMaxFortune, and you can comment online. Today, you can actually join the conversation during the show by calling us toll free at 844-417-4177. Again, we have a new number to call in this week, and it's 844. It's a toll free phone number, so there's no charges on your phone. It's toll free, 844-417-4177. Just hit extension 1900. You can actually be brought through the Fortune Publishing Group's prompts, but just hit 1900 to get right into the show.
Yep.
You can also email the show at maxfortuneshow@gmail.com. So any week you want to do that. You can also tell people they can go into shows that they've missed. They've missed a show. They can watch this on YouTube.
Absolutely. You can watch right on YouTube, as well as the Facebook page as
Correct.
well. They'll be all
Correct.
recorded there, but absolutely on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. We will be there. That'll be fantastic shows.
Every week.
Every week. All new content coming every week.
There you go.
And I just want to point out, can I
Yes,
do
please,
that?
please.
All right, I love doing this. It's my favorite part. Is for one lucky caller, so the show is live right now, so those of you who are watching this live, one lucky caller is going to win. We're going to pick the best call, and that's usually how it goes. 3 exciting days, 2 fun-filled nights to all sorts of different locations. Compliments of the Max Fortune Show.
Correct.
So get the phones ringing. If you want to call in, if you have any questions, provide some value, and we'll provide value back.
There you go. And again, that
Boom.
number to call in is 844-417-4177. So anybody's out there. Also, we welcome your comments. And I'm going to log in here just so that if anybody's commenting here, you can actually watch us live or comment live. We'll try to respond to your comments. So I'm sorry, I'm doing this and doing that at the same time. So anyway, comment live. So today's topic, let's get right into it. Today we're going to kind of be focusing on success, and when it comes to success, defining your purpose. And For those of you who are not familiar, I actually have a book out there. It's called Success: The Blueprint to Achieving Your Dreams and Goals. It's the book that's here on the desk. You can actually get it by going to AskMaxFortune.com and going to the shop for books, or at FortunePublishingGroup.com. You can get it either one of those places. But the book focuses on helping you to accomplish any kind of dream or goal you have. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about defining your purpose and the importance of defining your purpose when it comes to defining a goal or getting into the goal. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to be going into today. And you know, Joe, what are your thoughts on that? Defining your purpose. When did you find your purpose, or you know what I mean? When did you figure out that you want to be personal development, help people develop themselves personally, or how did that?
Yeah, well, that story. This topic's near and dear to my heart because for so much of my life, I struggled with that. What was my purpose? I lost my dad at a young age, and I kind of went off the rails. And I remember what that felt like, not knowing what my calling was, what my drive was, what my purpose was. I used to actually run around and tell people, I don't know my purpose. You know, I thought at some point, my purpose may be to, flush a toilet out in the Midwest at a roadside stop.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Gotcha.
And I think, Max, to answer that, really, when I started realizing my purpose is when I really started just getting out there and following what was in my heart and what I knew in my head, and just went for it. And from that, I started finding out what I resonated with and what really popped me up at 2 a.m., what fired me up. And I think that was a big indicator for me. I knew what my purpose was when I got real excited talking about it or thinking about it. And that was my aha moment. Yeah.
And you know what? The thing that there are a lot of people that I come across or that I talk to, and they're kind of still trying to figure out what their purpose is. And they can come at any age or stage of life.
Yeah.
So if you're older and it hasn't happened yet, it could still happen. If you're younger, definitely don't. You got time to figure it out. But what you want to do is, I always say, starting with just knowing that you were designed for some type of purpose.
Yeah.
Or idea that's kind of like got to be the core principle, that no one's a mistake.
Right.
We all have a purpose, and really our ultimate goal should be to define what your purpose is, why you're here in life, what value do you bring, and I think that every person should be really focused on that, focused on how to figure that out. And so we're going to kind of talk about some of those things. Maybe if you're struggling, maybe if you're on the fence, we're going to kind of give you some kind of pointers or some tips or ideas or some things to just kind of think about to kind of jar that, or just maybe help you get focused on it. And here's the thing: a lot of times people's focus gets refocused for or your purpose. And a lot of times there's so many people who are really just not operating in their purpose. And something you said earlier about when you get excited about the stuff that wakes you up at 2 a.m., that's usually a good indicator of something that is your purpose. It's something that you really look forward to doing. And so that's kind of really one of the triggers. So do you really, in defining your purpose, you actually have to spend some time reflecting on the things that you enjoy, the things that, like I said, make you feel alive, per se. I mean, those are the things that are key determinant points. But when I wrote down a couple things, I want to go over this list, and these are some things that can help you define your purpose if you're struggling with that at this point or at any point. But defining your purpose, it really allows your life to be compatible with your purpose, and that's the whole idea here. And you should try to answer some of these questions. And sometimes, if you're an older person, sometimes we life gets in the way, life happens, and we get away from purpose. And so what you want to do is think about some of the things that you enjoyed or liked doing as a child, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is and can be a clue to your purpose. Some of the things that you've always enjoyed doing, maybe not even as a young child, but as a young adult. Things that you kind of got into. But so many times between maybe having children, family responsibilities, we get away from some of those things, and we sometimes people kind of lose a little bit of themselves in situations and try to find their way back. And so if you're trying to really feel fulfilled or a part of achieving success or feeling successful, and you know what, I do want to kind of backpedal a little bit and say that success is different things to different people. So success is not the same thing to everyone, and you really have to be the person who defines your own success or what success is for you. And I would say that part of that, again, defining your purpose, it's hard to be successful, and it's not always about a financial goal or a benchmark, but it's just about personally feeling okay, feeling success. And it does mean different things to different people, and don't ever let anyone else define what success is for you. Let you you define that for yourself. I think that's so critical and important. There's so many people, I really, even the way marketing is done, I mean, the way everything we watch and get exposed to is done, a lot of times it can shape your idea of what is success or what success looks like. But I'm going to challenge you and encourage you to be the person who defines what success looks like for you. And again, part of that is what we're going to be talking about today, which is the defining your purpose part. So I think that's super important.
It's vital. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, it's a topic that I talk about a lot. I like to talk about a lot. I think people need to feel like they have a purpose in life, because it just, so many other things stem, and it's really hard to be successful outside of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
For me personally, I remember the whole time that I struggled with finding my purpose, you went and talked about that. I didn't realize for the longest time that I was created unique for a purpose. And I wasn't just a mistake or a happenstance. And that came from me really asking a lot of questions, life questions. They're going deep into the pool there and asking questions. Better questions I asked myself, the better answers I got. And I found out that, wow, I was really created for a unique purpose. What is that? Well, how can I find that out? By asking myself questions about what am I good at? What do I like? What do I love? Where do I feel like I'm heading?
And the big thing is, I run across so many people who are just afraid to fail, or to feel like a failure, or feel. Listen, you know what? The only way to ever achieve any kind of success is to fail a lot. To be honest with you, any successful person will tell you that they've failed a lot of times more than they succeeded. But what makes them a success is they keep going, they keep trying things. And we kind of touched on this again. One of the other points you do is not only think about what you did or liked as a child, but also what are the things. What activities are you the happiest doing? A lot of times that can clue you in to what your purpose is in life, or what you should be doing, just focusing on that. The other thing, and again, if you're at home, if you're at ability to write some things down, 3 things that you can do is you can write down 3 different incidences in your life where or when you felt most alive. And if you sit and ponder those moments like that, a lot of times that can be a key to unlocking your purpose, or what your purpose is. So again, writing down 3 defining or moments that just really stick out in life, where you just felt the most alive, at that moment. A lot of times that can really cue you into what your purpose is. So that again should begin to jar you. There's so many exercises in this book that will help you to do that. But that's just one of them. So we're going to go through a lot of these different things today. And one of the other things that I kind of want to talk about is kind of one of my favorite words. You were just saying asking yourself questions, and that's one of the things that you did. And I'm going to say that, in my opinion, one of the most powerful words in the dictionary is the question why. Yeah.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is when you ask yourself why, usually you have to come up with some answers. You're asking yourself things. We all ask ourselves questions. I mean, so why? When you think about why, it's an action word. When it's used as a noun, it's an action word. It causes you to get some questions or answer some questions, or come up with some answers to questions. And I think that's so very critical and important when it comes to becoming successful. You really want to know your why. The why are you here, the what gives you purpose, or why all these things happen. And I would also share with you the power of why. Why also has a healing power to it. I don't think there's anybody here in life that has gone through life and has had any negative things happen to them. We all have had negative situations have happened to us in our life. And a lot of times we have things that happen that we don't even understand why they happen. We have that why, that hanging why. But what I also know, a lot of times people would have done things to us and we don't know why they did it. And when you start thinking about why, some of the things, it takes me back to some of the kids, I grew up with. There's lots of bullies around, and you think about a bully, and when you think about a person who usually bullies other people, they're usually getting bullied themselves. So that why, when you understand that why in a situation like that, you kind of almost become sympathetic or understand why they're doing it, because it's being done to them. And when you kind of have those kinds of things unlock for you or with you, then what ends up happening is you end up being empathetic or empathizing or understanding. And once you start understanding why things are happening, man, it just unlocks so many other things, and it just makes it easier to forgive. And so many people are carrying around a lot of baggage that they don't need to carry around, I believe. And it's hard to be successful when you're carrying around all your failures or all your negative things that have happened to you. It's just hard to be successful that way,
I agree.
So I don't know anybody who can be successful when you're really bitter, or you just have so many different things. And again, we can't always control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond to it,
Exactly. And I want to speak to everybody out there real quick, because you got me fired up on something here. I'm just thinking about the why and purpose. And I want to tell every one of you out there who's watching this that the reason why this is so important to figure out your purpose is because we have a finite time. We really do have a finite time on this earth to do all the things that we're looking to do and to get it done. And I remember a turning point for me that created a big life change came from a quote from Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs, I watched a video, I think it was Stanford, I want to say Stanford commencement speech that he gave a few years before he passed away. And he said something that stuck with me. And he said, when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror and I ask myself the same question, he asked himself, if today was my last day on this earth, is what I'm about to do today what I really want to be doing? I heard that and I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty amazing. And then he said something right after that. He said, when the answer's no too many days in a row, I know something has to change. See, time is something that we only have so much of. And it is so important not to be willy-nilly to figure out our purpose in this life and what we're really called to do. It is so important to attack why we're doing the things we do.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Why? The real root of everything. Because there is only so much time. Right? The game only lasts so long, and the longer we wait, stuck in fear, stuck in a rut, focusing on what doesn't work, not asking ourselves the questions, the longer we take to get down to our purpose and our why, and why we're getting up every day, why we're in the grind, why we're going, why we want what we want. What's the whole purpose behind it? The longer we take to do that, the more we're missing out on one of the greatest gifts that I have been given, that I was looking for years, which is something called peace.
Wow.
Peace. I wanted peace in here, peace in here. That I was actually living my life instead of just lingering. I wanted to get out there. And once I connected with my purpose, the game started. And then why was I wanting to pursue that? Once I realized that, then it really became real.
Wow.
So important.
You know what?
How to say that?
I can see you're also very passionate about that.
Wow.
And that's also...
For years, Max, I was lied to.
Yeah.
I was lied to as a kid coming up. Really, I wasn't told that I even had a purpose, that I was supposed to pursue a purpose, or that I was just supposed to just fall in line, do what everybody told me to do. And I didn't ask too many questions. And then when I lost my father, then I realized, oh my gosh, now I really didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was faced with that. I had my whole life ahead of me, and you know what? It took a long time to figure that out, that I do have a purpose, that I am worth something. I can go out there and create, become, and grow. I can fight for what I want, and it's okay.
And you know what? I think it's so incredible that you're saying that, and I know that there's so many people out there who feel the same way, who just maybe not have heard it, or at some point, or just didn't get stressed the fact that, hey, we're all created for a purpose. We really are. We're all created for a purpose, and you mentioned earlier a unique purpose. And so the goal is finding what your purpose is and not letting someone else define that for you. And also, when we're talking about this whole why question and the power of why and how impactful it can be in unlocking your life, It's the key ingredient. It's not important to just want to know that you want to accomplish a goal. You actually have to know why you want to accomplish that goal, because that really, I mean, it's not about, hey, I mean, if it's a health goal, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. That's not enough to, you have to say, I want to lose 10 pounds so I can get into all my clothes from last summer. Or, I mean, you have to give yourself a why. You can't just give yourself a goal without a why you want to accomplish that goal. And expect to be successful at accomplishing that goal. It's very critical that you understand why you want to accomplish that goal in order for it to really be crystallized or to come to fruition. And I think a lot of people stop at just the goal and not have their why. Why do you want to accomplish that goal is critical. It's important. You have to know that. And I mean, you just have to know that.
And why continually evolves. If you're really asking those questions, you want to drive that why deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, and I'll share this one with you, and this really resonates with me. When my father got sick and passed away, I got really into fitness. And part of the reason for that is because I did not want to have happen to my children what I went through with my father getting sick and passing away. So everything I did, going to the gym and eating right, and doing all those things and wanting to learn about that, was because, you know what, I saw the pain my mother went through. I saw the pain that my sister went through. I saw what it was like going to the hospital for a year and a half. It really resonated with me, and I saw how my dad struggled, and I said, I do not want to be in that situation, and I do not want to put anybody I know or love and my unborn children in that situation. I remember how that really resonated with my wife. Why was I getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Why was I eating a can of tuna, and drinking a gallon of water a day? Why was I taking all those vitamins? The real why was because deep down in my gut, I resonate with so much of that hurt that came from that my driving why was I wouldn't want to put my wife through that, I wouldn't put my children through that, and it mattered to me. Yeah. And I drove it deep.
Wow. Wow. I mean, like I said, we're getting back and we're focusing on this why thing. We're talking about it a little bit, but it's important. It's really important. And if you don't have that why, again, it's hard to move on. It's hard to be successful. You have to know why you're in it. And I want to piggyback with some of these questions that we're asking people. And again, we're talking about why you want to pursue your particular dreams and goals, how important and critical that is, but also what's also critical in the goal to becoming successful is that forgiveness piece. Again, I mentioned earlier, you can't be successful carrying baggage with you, or it's hard to be successful, I should say, when you're thinking about all of these other things. So, one of the other things I implore you to try, as far as if you're on this goal, if you're going to seriously commit to finding out your purpose and becoming successful and doing that, sometimes we have to even write down some people that we even need to forgive and why.
Yep.
And why you need to forgive those people, just so you can let that go. That's an important part of the growth process or becoming successful. Write down 3 things you also need to forgive yourself for. And write why you need to, because sometimes we do so many things to ourselves. A lot of times we can be our own worst enemy. We carry and harbor a lot of things that really a lot of people run into, and they kind of bogging themselves down. They talk themselves out of so many different things, and so you may find yourself being one of those people that even have to forgive yourself for certain things that you do or have done. And I think it's such an important part of the healing process or the success process is just writing down not only the things that you need to forgive someone, but again, why you need to do that. And so I think it's also important. The other part of this kind of why question is we kind of talk about this whole why are you here thing, and how important it is when your dreams or goals are in line with your purpose. When those things happen, and when your dreams and goals are in line with your purpose, I mean, something magical kind of happens. You really just start. Something magical happens in that process. So I just will implore you to begin to start working through some of those things. Your mission in life should be really to find out your why and why you're here and your purpose. And it's imperative to work towards discovering those things, in your purpose. And we talked about what are you good at, what are your special skills or talents, some of these other things. Sometimes we're designed for what our purpose is. So when you think about what your special skills and talents are, that's also a trigger, or it could be a trigger of what your purpose here in life is. So these are just some things that we're kind of doing, things that can help you unlock your purpose. And the next thing I want to focus on is what makes you feel great. I kind of touched on it a little bit, but when you think about the things that make you feel great, not just good, but great, that's a lot of times can be an indicator of your operating your purpose. And, I'm kind of a bit of a business nut. I would probably, maybe a little bit of a workaholic, maybe a little bit. Depends.
Tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
Say it ain't so, Max.
It ain't so, but it is so. But you know what, to be honest with you, I believe I've always, my whole entire life, I'll tell you guys, I had some really good friends I went to high school with, they'll tell you, hey, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to be a business person ever since I was a teenager. And I've been fortunate and blessed to be able to do that. For the last 20 years, become fully self-employed. You know what? That's actually not the. Anyway, so I was thinking we.
Anywho.
Yes, anywho. I want you to focus on what makes you feel great, and what makes you feel great is really important to kind of have an idea or to know that, because again, it can be an indicator of what your purpose is or how you're operating your purpose, and I think that's important to do that. One of the other things that is good is some of the things that you enjoy doing more than anything else is also another indicator of really what you're good at. So when you're able to answer questions like that, you'll be able to feel a little bit more fulfilled in life. And you mentioned something earlier about having peace and fulfillment. All these kind of things kind of work together. And there's something to be said about having some inner peace. And a lot of times people do have inner turmoil, and that's, again, a lot of times when you're not operating your purpose, there's going to be an imbalance. There's going to be something that you're going to just feel is kind of off. You're not going to feel...
Laboring.
Yeah.
It's what you're laboring. It's like a fish out of water. It's laboring to breathe.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like that. So what I'm asking you to do, or one of the things that you can do, is really get on that path of fulfillment and seek, until you find that one thing or that thing that makes you feel great. The things that when you do them, when you're moving in your purpose, you're doing those things that just make you feel fulfilling. And there's some exercises you can do to help you with that, or help you figure some of those things out. And one of those things is to write down 5 things that make you feel great. So if you have time right now, if you're at your desk, you're at work, or wherever you are, your home, or wherever, just write down 5 things that make you feel great. Again, so take the time to do that. Write down 5 things that make you feel great. Here's another really key thing. When I talk to people about their purpose, I always ask people, listen, if you didn't have any bills to pay, you didn't have any responsibilities, you didn't have no debts, no financial obligations, what would you spend your time doing?
Yeah. Or the other question would be, if you know you couldn't fail,
wow,
what would you do? It's amazing how many people give up on their purpose simply out of fear of failure. They default to the comfort of that word failure, which we've been kind of taught to avoid.
Right.
And so, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Yeah. I mean,
and let it fly.
You almost have to do that, and you can't be afraid to fail to be successful. You really can't. You have to focus on that. And so, some of the other things, another exercise, and hopefully you're getting some of this stuff. Hopefully you're writing some of this stuff down. But another exercise is writing the 3 things that money, your career, or your financial obligations are blocking you from achieving. Again,
it just goes to show you though about failing forward.
Hey,
right?
It's part of the game.
It's not a failure if you learn from it.
There you go, and I learned from it.
So did I. We all learned something here today.
So listen, we're talking about your purpose, defining your purpose, and the importance of doing that, and how important that is when it comes to achieving any kind of success that you want to achieve in life. So we're encouraging you. We encourage you with a couple of different tips and pointers, and so we're kind of going to go into, or actually, what we'll do, since we're back, I guess. We're talking about goals, and we do want to encourage you to call into the show. If you have accomplished any kind of goal, if you've had any kind of experience with defining your purpose, how you came about defining your particular purpose, we definitely encourage you to call us in right now if you can. The phones are working. 844-417-4177. Again, that's 844-417-4177. You want to dial extension 1900. So as soon as you feel if you want to get through quicker, as soon as you hear the answering service kick in, then you're going to go ahead and just hit extension 1900 to dial you right into our show, and we'll be able to take the call.
And as always, one lucky caller today will win 3 exciting days, 2 fun-filled nights at over 15 different vacation spots, compliments of the Max Fortune Show.
There you go. There you go.
You know, that's my favorite part.
I know this. So all you have to do is call into the show, ask questions, or Lynn, talk to us about your experience with defining your purpose, how you came to define your purpose, how you came to, or maybe if you're struggling with defining your purpose. Again, we welcome all of those calls. So, or you can actually go in right now. We're watching any comments live. So if you want to comment on Facebook, so you go to facebook.com/AskMaxFortune. And we'll be able to see your comments live, and we'll comment on it. We'll shout you out a couple of times as well. And so anyway, as we're going through this whole process of success and achieving your success, and we were talking about your why and the importance of why. And you know what? The next thing I do want to talk about when it comes to finding your purpose is not delaying your goals. You know, if you want to be successful, you really do have to not put off things that you want to, the goals, the things that you need to accomplish every day. People put off things to tomorrow, and tomorrow's not promised to any of us. So you want to make sure you do not delay your goals. When it comes to taking charge of your life, it's very important to not to delay your goals. And you have to be willing to make some sacrifices in life. You must be able to give up something, and so many people want everything, but they're not willing to give up anything, any time, any money or anything. But sacrifice is a part of success. You do have to be willing to give up some things to get some things. You agree with that?
I do. I agree. And I think part of that willing to give up stuff goes back to something I'm a big champion for, self-worth. Once you know what you're worth, then you realize that we all give up something. Sitting in rush hour traffic for 2 hours every morning, Monday through Friday, you're giving up something. We're all giving up something, right? We all do. So once your self-worth is at a point where you realize you're going to go for it, then yeah. I think giving up, exchanging things becomes much easier at that point.
Well, I would say definitely the change that's needed to accomplish your goals rarely happens on its own. I mean, you really have to be an active part of the change, or being the change that you want to become. And one of the biggest things I see is procrastination. So when it comes to defining success and being a success, again, procrastination is one of those things that wants to steal your time. Is liken it to like a robber at the door at night. You got to respond quickly to a robber at your door, and anytime you're going to procrastinate, you have to respond just as quickly. And something when your thought process is thinking about putting something off, respond quickly, do something, even if it's a small or a short goal that kind of keeps you on track. But don't procrastinate, don't put things off. Again, you have to definitely act quickly when it comes to achieving any kind of goal or accomplishing any kind of goal. I mean, it's really important to not be a person that procrastinates. So if you're struggling with accomplishing goals, sometimes you have to do some assessments. We've been talking about that all show, this entire show. And one of those is really writing down what is stopping you from working on your goals today. I mean, today, like if you really stopped and thought about it right now, what is stopping you from working on your goals right now? To think about it.
Questions reveal lies. And I think when we ask ourselves questions like that, what's stopping us, we find out, we go like, wait a minute, there's nothing really stopping any of us. Most of us are operating in such a fear base, but our fear is not really founded in any sense of truth. It's not like most of us are sitting there, I got to procrastinate, or I can't fulfill my purpose, or I can't accomplish something today because somebody's got a knife at my throat, or they've got a gun to my head. It's all internal fears that we tell ourselves. And the only way to get through that, like you were saying, is asking those questions, really asking ourselves, is that a true statement? Is I can't do this today because, and why am I thinking that way? Is that true? And most of it we'll find out, procrastination is just a pile of just excuses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Excuses are tools of the incompetent, which build monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in their uses are seldom capable of anything else.
Yeah, it's funny, but I want to also implore you, as you're kind of doing these things, and we're kind of with the show, really focus on trying to give you things that some tools that you can use or information that can help empower you to become successful, especially when we do these success shows, but really any shows that we're doing. And so one of the other exercises that you can do when it comes to, again, defining your purpose, and we're talking about these things, is kind of knowing or writing down 3 things that usually steal your time from accomplishing your goals. Because again, sometimes it's hard to overcome something when you don't even know what you're dealing with or what you're battling with. But if you take some time to get some perspective and even just write down 3 things. So if you don't feel like you're successful right now, if you haven't done some of the things that you want to do, write down 3 things that usually stop you from accomplishing, your goals or what you want to accomplish or what you're working towards. And once you kind of identify what those things are, you know what happens next time you see those things, you kind of know that these are the things to look out for, and I always say that once you kind of know, you can be prepared for the things that you know. It's the things that you're not really prepared for. I liken it to boxing. It's a boxing analogy. The punch that knocks you out is the one you don't see. So again, you don't want to go through life that way. And again, most boxers will tell you that's the one that knocks you out is the one you don't see.
Yep.
So you don't want to get knocked out in life. You want to be able to see kind of what your personal roadblocks are, the things that are challenging you. And you want to be able to make sure that you take advantage of those things. Or just, like I said, just being self-aware. Writing down some of the things that steal your time. Because if you can identify that maybe it's a TV show or watching too much TV, or maybe it's your friends, or it could be, whatever the distraction is that's stopping you from accomplishing or being successful, you need to know what that is so that when you see it happening, you can actually prepare and be better apt to attack those things, or to know, okay, hey, this is something that usually steals my time. I'm not going to let it this time. I'm not going to let this stop me from accomplishing my goals. I'm going to move forward with that. The other thing that you can do when you're doing that, which is kind of like the next part of this, is, once you've written down those things that steal your time, write down 5 things that you can do to help you refocus on your goals right away. Again, let's write down 5 things that you can do that can help you refocus on your goals right away.
Why is that so important, man?
It's important and it's critical because sometimes, like I said, we get off track, we get distracted. I mean, the world we live in, there's Facebook we're on right now, there's YouTube. You might be at work watching us on Facebook. We hope you are, but we hope you're not as well. but we hope you are.
Always be watching. That's the lesson here. Tune in wherever you're at. Doesn't matter where.
There you go.
Always
and you can be
watching.
listening. If you're at work, we want you to be productive at work. But again, the important thing is helping those things. If you can write down the things, or if you have kind of your action list of things to help you refocus, it almost becomes, you can train yourself to almost have that knee-jerk response to, hey, this is something that's going to steal my time for being successful. And you want to be able to respond to that. You want to be able to know, okay, here's what I need to do. I mentioned it earlier that, again, when it comes to writing down some of those goals, you almost want to write down the things that you can do right away to get yourself re-engaged, to get yourself to stop. If you're kind of finding yourself procrastinating or coming away from something, you definitely want to have your own bag of tricks that help you to kind of refocus and get back on task, back on achieving your goals, back on achieving whatever your dreams are. And again, I can't tell you how incredible it feels to have a goal, set it, and to accomplish it and achieve it. And goals are different. There are different benchmarks. So sometimes they're big goals, sometimes they're little goals. And I would say, just like anything else, accomplishing goals is something that we train ourselves to do. And one of the small things that I do every day, I start every day with actually me and my sister go over every day the to-do list for the day. And it's critical important because if you don't have a plan or a roadmap for success, it's kind of like so many people are used to using GPS to get to where they're trying to get to a destination. And again, how, would you be lost, or, how do you get somewhere if you don't know how to get there? Where's your map? And so this is kind of like having those, a checklist or a to-do list or something like that is one of those things that help you stay focused, help you when you do get distracted, because things happen. I mean, there's family distractions, there's work distractions, there's all kinds of life happening to you. But without that checklist, without that list to come back to, sometimes it's hard to kind of get yourself re-engaged. So it's really important to be able to have this. This is a small thing that you can do. Again, when it comes to goals, is really having things written down. Have your goals written down. Now, I'm going to talk about how important it is to even write down your goals. Because if you're not even writing it down, you're really even having less success with committing to it. So that is super critical, I would say. And the process is, again, writing down those goals. There's something happens between your brain, your eye, and your hand when you write down things that, it really just, your ability to accomplish your dreams and goals become that much more, it just becomes that much more important to do that. So those are a couple of quick things that I would say that are really, really good when it comes to accomplishing your goals, defining your purpose, and not delaying on those goals. And I will also say that, a lot of times it's really, really important to gain knowledge, or you actually do gain knowledge by defining your purpose. Usually I know we have lots of talks about things that we're working on. And what happens is, when you're defining your purpose and you know what your purpose is, and the mental energy needed to do that, it'll increase your knowledge base. You actually would just learn more. It helps to define your way of thinking and accepting new ideas and concepts and everything. So I think that's also an important part of becoming success. And I will also talk about, or would like to talk about, the importance of being able to overcome stumbling blocks. I mean, we're all going to experience, I should say, stumbling blocks in life. And I have a saying that I say a lot of times, and the only way to avoid disappointment is to adjust your expectations. I say that all the time. And it's not that you will not have disappointments. You're going to have disappointments in life, but you have to adjust your expectations, and that kind of helps you to deal with any kind of disappointments. But overcoming stumbling blocks, if you are already prepared or understand that, yes, you're gonna have some stumbling blocks, some moments that things aren't gonna work out the way you wanted to work out. And what you want to do is you want to still be able to have a way of overcoming those, not letting stumbling blocks be things that just get you to where you're just completely falling over and not effective at all.
Yeah.
So
you just had me think about getting engaged and stumbling blocks. And the funny thing is, when you were saying that, I was actually thinking to myself how, as I've matured, I welcome the stumbling blocks. Like, I spent so much of my time trying to avoid stumbling blocks, trying to be too hip, slick, and cool, and trying to avoid failure or avoid mistakes, or look at things from a very defeated aspect. When I really started looking at my life and really taking the stumbling blocks as like an opportunity to, like, this is the challenge, this is the match, this is the game. How crazy can it get? How much more crazy stuff can happen, and how am I going to innovate my way out of it, right? Oh, there's a problem to solve. Gotcha. Instead of looking at it in that negative way. And that took a long time to get to. I really did. But once I got to that point, I tell you what, I've noticed how I've steadily improved, and it's just made a big difference. Welcoming the stumbling blocks, knowing for where they're going to come. It's kind of like a boxer. You know you're going to get hit.
Right.
You know you're going to get hit. A football player knows they're going to get hit. And the ones that are really good, what? They're like, what? They pop right back up and go, come on, hit me again.
Right.
They don't shy away from it.
Right.
They don't shy away from that contact.
It's important to not let obstacles become obstructions. And so many people let obstacles become obstructions in their life. And again, obstacle is really just as a challenge. It's something that's going to usually take you to another level, personally, professionally, or however that is. So again, if you're looking at obstacles as a challenge, something to overcome, and when it comes to being successful and having a mindset for success, you almost have to welcome those moments. And it's a time frame where you can actually engage what you've learned or learn some different things, but usually are moments that stretch you, growth moments. So those are really important, and you have to have those moments. If you're not being stretched, if you're not really even meeting obstacles, I think something's wrong.
When we were children, we used to welcome that. You get on the bicycle and you fall and you get back up. You didn't know any better. Right? You didn't know any better. You thought anything was possible. If every one of you out there was like me, I actually thought that I could dig a hole to China at one point. And I really believed it. And I was out there. Nobody told me I couldn't do it. I welcomed the challenge. I remember falling off my bike over and over again trying to learn how to jump off a ramp. And I remember how many times I fell and how much I got hurt. I welcomed that adversity. It was fun. Right? Somewhere along the way we're told, play it safe. Get in your little box. You shut up, Max. You be good. You be quiet now and fall in line.
Right.
That's not true on any stretch.
I agree. And so you have to just get out there and continue to, again, not let your stumbling blocks or your obstacles become obstructions. You have to push forward, push through. It's so very critical and important to do that. So we're kind of hoping that some of this information is helpful. We talked about defining your purpose and how important that is, and really how to not let someone else define that purpose for you, and how important it is for you to define your own purpose. I mean, I can't tell you how mission critical that is to being successful, being a success in life, and being successful. You really do have to not let other people define what your purposes, or you have to do that. And a lot of times really it's usually close family and friends that usually dissuade us from doing a lot of things that we need to do. And I will tell you, a lot of times you almost have to look at the person who's advising you. A lot of times people don't know who to get the right advice from, and so you look at people who are where you want to be. Or if somebody's not where you want to be, that shouldn't necessarily be someone you take advice from, especially when it comes to becoming successful or achieving any kind of dream or goal. And anybody who's usually negative when you talk to them about a goal or a dream you have or that you're trying to accomplish, a lot of times you look at their personal life, they've not achieved or accomplished much because as you will know, anybody or most people I would say who are successful, they love to share their information, their ideas. They understand that that's a really key element to being successful. It's really, and they just want to share. It's kind of like a different thing. It's that it was that quote that Zig Ziglar has. You help enough people.
Yeah, you can help enough. You can have anything you want in this life if you help enough people get what they want.
So it's important. It's critical.
And I will say this, Max. This is a key point that when it comes to negative people, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, is they're just telling their story. Everyone is just sharing their story. So when you hear a positive person that's getting excited about you pursuing their dreams and goals, guess what? They're excited because they're pursuing their dreams and goals. And they're resonating with that story. And so a negative person, they're not resonating with that story because they're telling you about their negative situation, their negative life, how they know that they can't do it or feel like they can't do it, and they've told themselves a bunch of lies, and they're just sharing a story with you and hoping that you're going to buy that story so you can be a part of that group and go, yeah, I guess we all have to just sit down and we'll never go anywhere. Oh boy.
Right.
Eeyore. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's important when you understand that and how those things work. I mean, it really just helps you to diffuse negativity when you see it, or people who are have stinking thinking. We all have people like that around, and you really, if you peek or peer into their life, you'll see exactly how they became that person. And like you're saying, they're just really telling their own story. Has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what a person feels like they can accomplish. So you know, somebody's telling you, oh, you can't accomplish this, or you can't accomplish that, or I don't think you should do that. It's not, you know, a lot of times you, again, really, really look at that person and see what they've done in life, and if they've accomplished, or if they're where you want to be in life, then that's a person that you take advice from. If they're not, then you have to, you know, think about that and wonder, is this somebody I should really be taking, you know, success advice from for about achieving goals, you know, and the person who hasn't achieved. And a lot of times so many people will listen to the wrong voices out there, and you know, that can definitely stymie you from achieving any kind of success. You really want to find or align yourself with the right people, and even if you cannot find them, you know, the world has really made it so easy to get information at your fingertips. I mean, if you can't find it in your personal circle, I mean, you can get motivated online, find people who have done, there's so many, I don't really know that there's probably anything that you want to accomplish that somebody else hasn't done, and you probably can Google that person, or look up, or watch YouTube, or, you know, anything. And, you know, not everybody can get that motivation from their interpersonal relationships personally. So you can still manufacture some of that same information by going out there and looking at people. And you should always have someone that you admire, or someone who is where you want to be. You should be listening to those people, even if it's not somebody that you can personally touch or feel, but it's somebody that you can listen to through motivational tapes, or exercises like this, or programs like this, hopefully, but things that just motivate you, or people that are motivational. You know, you don't want to be around cancerous people, because again, just like cancer, just eats away at everything positive with you. So again, when it comes to becoming success, achieving success, you really want to surround yourself with people who are like-minded as much as possible. And if you cannot physically surround yourself with those people, find information, find people like out there like that do share your frame of mind, or where you want to be. So as we're winding down the show, I want to kind of recap what we talked about, which was defining your purpose, how important that is when it comes to achieving your dreams or goals. Also, we talked a lot about why, and how why leads to forgiveness. Why is that the importance of why, how it's such a powerful word in the dictionary. That word why just really does require you to come up with answers. It's an action word, you know, when it's used as a noun. It definitely gets you moving in a direction of solving things, as opposed to just so many people who have problems, I see, who just focus on the problem. But you know what? A problem can't exist without a solution. And the people who are, I mean, if you sit there and spend more of your time focusing on solutions, then you actually automatically feel more empowered when it comes to achieving your dreams or goals, as opposed to feeling powerless because you're focusing on the problem. So again, that's one of the other things that we could probably spend a whole show on.
Where we look is where we live. When you are looking at the negative, you are living in a negative life, and you will stay in that place. When you look at the positive, you will start living in the positive, and you will start having a positive life. It won't always be sunshine and rainbows, but I'll tell you right now, you'll be fired up every day.
I agree with that. And so as we're recapping what we went over, we want you to focus on discovering what makes you feel great. You know, that's one of the things we're talking about, defining your purpose, and how important it is to define that, and that being one of the key goals of doing that. And doing what you love to do also, critical. Determine your purpose. I mean, when your purpose aligns with, when your life aligns with your purpose, I'm going to tell you something. You got something magical going on there, you know.
Like you.
Well, I hope like
You're living your purpose. It's magical. I get to watch it. It's a magic show over here.
I want to tell you, I absolutely, you know, love it, and I think that, you know, I'm a person who just, I don't know, I love it. And so when I feel like I am operating my purpose, and I try to do that more and more every day. I stretch myself more every day, and I'll be honest with you, I'm growing, I'm stretching myself, just as we're talking to other people about defining their goals and purposes. You know, for me, I'm naturally, it's really weird when I tell people this, but I'm naturally an introverted guy. I like to maybe stay off to myself, you know, more than I like, you know, doing stuff like this. But, you know, I've learned that this is important. I've overcome some of my own personal thoughts and ideas, and just really I'm a lot better at reaching out to people and being more extroverted. You know, because in business you really can't make money if you just deal with yourself. You know, you gotta be able to deal with people.
Fear over faith, right? Or faith over fear. And whichever one's in front is what you lead with. And you're leading with faith.
You know what?
In your purpose and your passion, putting that fear behind you, that introverted fear, and you're sitting in front of this camera, providing a whole lot of value.
Well, that's what we try to do. You know, so I try to live what we talk to people about every week.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not
right?
just it's a journey every day. So if I can do it, you can do it. So listen, as we're wrapping the show up, we love to do this. I enjoy doing this every week, and like I said, it's something that I wouldn't have thought about doing a while ago, but I enjoy doing it. I also want to remind people that we've created a couple of free webinars and book classes. We're, you know, as far as the actually coaching program that I have that I do every week for people who are wanting to publish their own book, and we'll kind of get into that in a couple of weeks. But I do want to also say that as we're growing our viewership on our YouTube channel, which happens to be Facebook.com. Jeez.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. It's on our YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and put in the Max Fortune Show, and you should be able to get the show. For those of you who are watching live out there, if you missed some of the show or you missed some of the other previous shows, or you want to watch a show again, you can go to YouTube and then just put in the Max Fortune Show and it'll come right on up. Or you can continue, if you're out there watching this on YouTube and you want to join in on some of the live shows, what you do is you just go to Facebook.com, of course, and then put in that /AskMaxFortune. And we're asking you to subscribe to both of those. If you feel like, you know, you've gotten any kind of value at all, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook and Instagram, and send us some comments. Let us know. Send us an email. You can email us at the maxfortuneshow@gmail.com. Again, it's maxfortuneshow@gmail.com. You can send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a topic that you'd like us to talk about when it comes to either success or publishing a book, or if you even want to be a guest on the show, we definitely welcome you to call our number. The number is 844-417-4177. And again, you can call, you can talk to myself, Joe, or the producer of the show, and we'd love to talk to you about future shows. I think that's all I have.
Well, I just want to say this. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up for you guys. So, like Max said, feel free to get engaged. Let us know what you would like to hear or see, how we can improve the show. We'd love to have your feedback. We're building a value-based community here. I know Max is passionate about that. I'm very passionate about that. And we want to serve you guys out there. We really want to make a difference. So help us help you in that way. And I just want to leave you with this, Max. Thank you very much once again for a fantastic show. Thank you, everybody out there, for being patient. And I'm going to ask one last question, and you can close it out. We've been talking about why, and I just want every one of you out there, if you can, ask yourself this question. Why not?
There you go. All right. Well, that being said, we'll close the show. But you know what I do want to say, and we almost forgot this. Listen, next week we'll be on at our new time. We're actually doing a new
Show 2.0.
makeover, right? Show 2.0. We're doing a makeover show. So, you know, we definitely want to welcome you to come back and take a look at our show. We'll have some new look and a new feel next week. So we're really excited about that. Again, the new show time on Facebook Live will be at 2 o'clock. So from 2 to 3. We've been doing the show from 4:30 to 5:30, but we're moving to a new format or new. Just a new show. We've had a really exciting guest coming on, Scott Spedden from Farmers Insurance. He talked to you about the importance of that, but also we're doing our Get Rich in Your Niche show next week, so I'm really looking forward to that, where we bring on small business owners and they talk about how they grew their business rather, and tips and pointers on how you can grow your business.